And thus, we are live. As always, there are some trouble setting up. Hello, everyone. Hello, Uncle Trash. Hello, everyone. Yeah. So, I ran a poll for what I was going to draw today. And the result came out pretty heavily in favor of a medieval beekeeper. And I went sort of like, why? And I still can't figure that out. So we'll figure that out together. And then if there's enough time, we will do one or two drawings more after that, okay? That's the plan for today. My name is Kim Diaz-Holm, also called Den Unge Herr Holm, and I make art for free use. So everything you see me draw on my live streams, or basically most other places, is stuff that you can download and you can print and you can change and you can even sell, because art should be free. As I say, make free art or die. If you think that's cool, and if you want more of these live streams and some extras and want to support, then you can do that by becoming a YouTube member, by super chats on Patreon, or by buying originals and merch on denungeherrholm.com. Okay? So let's figure out this medieval beekeeper thing. So usually when I do these live drawings, I try to go straight to the drawing. But with this one, I want to do a little bit of research first. So I have some web pages up on my computer screen, and I'm just going to try to analyze what's going on in their suit. I've been reading a little bit up about medieval beekeeping. I don't know enough about it yet, and I have forgotten most everything I read today. But you know, we'll learn. So I'm just drawing this basket pattern in a sort of a super stylized way in order to sort of remember how the patterns are. And they're sort of like things are weaved here, and then there are these openings that you can see through, like here, okay? So that's one of the details I wanted. And then I saw that there were a couple of different variants, and I like this one that has the hood as a separate piece of clothing. Great to see you too. Where are everyone located? Okay, so Dragon's Blair says because medieval beekeepers are very cool and mysterious looking. Or do they look like medieval beekeepers? Cast the Minotaur, what is that? Yeah, so I will hopefully take requests for or we'll do an ink monster or something like that together afterwards. But right now I just want to do a medieval beekeeper. They have these bee hives, and there's all the bees. And there's really not all that much to it. So Ooh, we have people from Netherlands, we have people from Georgia, Norway, Hei Norge, Missouri, New Zealand, Canada, Germany, Chicago, India, Slovakia, Minnesota, St. Louis, Canada. Yeah. Ooh, Ethiopia. Am I late? No, we're just starting. We're still sketching. And one of the fun things about some medieval times is that these shoes with a twisty turn on became fashionable, and then the church thought those shoes were indecent. That's fun. France, Ukraine. Naked dragon. I don't think I've drawn a clothed dragon ever. Yeah. So what? I'm still looking for what's the interesting thing about the medieval beekeepers. And how are we going to do the image? What are we going to do that's exciting with the image? Or are we just going to draw something that could have been used on Wikipedia? Were the toes too sexy? Yes. You never know what people could do with those sexy toes. Ireland. Was a medieval beekeeper also the inspiration for one of the crones in Witcher 3? Oh, that might be. I'll have a look. Crones, Witcher 3. That's a. Maybe that's why. Yeah, a medieval beekeeper is. Definitely, I had forgotten about her, and that's definitely what that suit is. So, sort of a monstrous medieval beekeeper. Is that what you want? Okay. Let's do that. So I'm still going to be sketching a little. And then I'm going to draw it as a monster, yes. But also not get it too close to the not get it too close to the crone in The Witcher, because The Witcher is The Witcher has fantastic art direction, and it's a great game series, but it is also it has its own identity. Maybe they used smoke to lure out the bees. Maybe it can have one of these priestly incense. Oh no, I just made up a stupid joke in my head. That's only funny if you like 80s power metal. He's the keeper of the 7 bees. Yeah, let's do a scary beekeeper, and then we can do, pretty ominous straight on, but we have to draw all those goddamn bees. I've seen the Shambler from Quake 1, yes, because I've played Quake 1. I loved Quake 1. Peak comedy. Love from Persia. Wow. Okay. So we'll try a scary Keeper of the 7 bees, which is very little for a beekeeper. I mean, that's a lazy beekeeper, keeping just 7 bees. Okay. Do I want to use some color for this one? Yeah, I want to use some. Let's be able to use some more color and get it. So let's tape this one down. My wife's mom was a beekeeper for a long time. Unfortunately, a few winters ago, the bees didn't survive the cold. Oh no, that was a problem in medieval time as well. So they built all types of shelters and stuff for the bees to try to get them through the winter, and also they didn't have the technological know-how to or the technique of taking out the wax and putting it in again, and the wax was also probably more worth than the honey, so they always had to leave a little behind for winter, but enough that the colony survived to the next spring. If bees are the size of Minecraft bees, then that's fine. Yeah, then you can keep 7 bees. Okay. So I will. Which colors shall we use here? Here we have a few different ones here. Wait a second, I have some more. Knirk, 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 knirk. Yeah, these should be perfect. So I have some clean water and some dirty water. I've been wondering what you use for splatter creatures. It's mostly ink. I can show a little bit of what I use. But yeah, mostly ink, some liquid watercolor, some liquid or fluid acrylics. Okay? Salmon fisherman fishing his life away on the riverbanks. Love your short vids. Thank you. Okay. So we'll start here. Lovely beekeeper color. We'll go over to this one, very close color, but a little warmer. Then I think I want a dash of red in here. And we'll use gray afterwards, but first we'll be naughty and do a little bit of this very clear blue, but not too much. And then we'll start spreading it around like this. I think this can work. Okay. Because he's the keeper of the 7 bees. The beauty is in the eye of the keeper. Beekeeper. Okay, that makes more sense. No, it doesn't make sense. Okay. I don't know if this is going to work at all. But you know, I say that all the time because it's always true. That's one of the exciting things about working this way, is you really don't know what's going to work, what's going to look off or fake, or what's going to drive the art the wrong way, or what's going to be a mistake that's good to keep and what's going to be a mistake that's poor to keep. That it's always this give and take of yeah, this mistake works, this doesn't, and like that. Yeah. So getting the basic human figure down is sort of the easy part, I would say, because I sketched the human figure out with the water, and then yeah, it's just a matter of not messing it up too much. So I'm going to continue working on this here while it's still potentially a little bit wet. And then I'm going to dry it some more. Yay, I can't be split into hundreds. Hundreds? What's 100? Do you like jazz? I'm not a big jazz fan. I do have some jazz albums I like. I like Chet Baker, and I like some of John Zorn's stuff, but more towards the noise stuff there. And I like was it Madlib did a great hip hop album on the Blue label, and or something. I'm not that good with these, with remembering all this stuff, but I there's very little jazz that I listen to often. Not making sense. Ooh. Chick Corea was a great jazz man. Check him out if you're ever so inclined. I will try to remember that. I try to check out new music as often as I can. But that can be difficult because you need to give music time in order to understand it. Is the person who suggested medieval beekeeper in the chat? Because this week something strange happened. Actually, I got a lot of comments, and I remember getting a lot of cool suggestions on when I asked for suggestions, and suddenly, poof, they were gone. And I was left with just 15 comments, and there used to be like 40 the day before. So they were all gone. And then I had to just go through the ones I had and find cool stuff. And it's no problem finding cool stuff because, people suggest cool things to draw and things that I want to learn about and things that I want to draw. So medieval beekeeper is something where I said, ooh, I don't know anything about medieval beekeepers. That's a good enough reasons to draw them, because now I know a tiny, tiny, tiny bit about the medieval beekeepers, okay? But yeah, I have to figure out what went wrong and find a way to make sure that doesn't happen next week. Oh, this looks great. I just need to not mess it up. Don't mess it up. Okay, Kim, I have a question for you. I understand you're a leftist and very against oppression. Do you extend that sense of justice to animal oppression as well? Yes, but not well enough. And that is a moral failing of mine. But I am very much against industrial meat production. I'm not against the eating of animals or the killing of animals. I think those are parts of life and can be done reasonably well. But the cruelty of industrial of the industrial meat production is insane. That is one of the biggest moral failings of the industrial age, and I am contributing to it. So yeah, sorry about that. That's not a satisfactory answer, but it is what it is. We all have our moral failings, and I have many. Do you still not associate with being human? I think some words in that post got misunderstood. I was talking about other people not associate with being human. I am human enough. I don't. No McDonald's sponsorships. No. Yeah. So the scale of the meat production isn't the only problem. Of course, it is a problem because that can't be done in a good way. But the total amount of suffering that animals go through in the industrial meat process, and also the incredible waste of that process is it is pure insanity. Oh, what brands of ink do I use? So right now I'm where can I find it? I'm using this Talon's Indian ink, which is great. Royal Talon's Indian ink. That's my black ink. I buy it because it's the liter bottle they have at my local art store. And then for the color, I'm using a lot of Ecoline watercolors. And I'm using probably some Sennelier and some Dr. P.E.H. Martens. Would you say that you're against causing unnecessary suffering to innocent beings? I'm pretty much against causing unnecessary suffering. I think the necessary suffering is suffering enough. But yes, I do think that there should be. There's something very dehumanizing about treating animals like ingredients in a industrial machine. And humane killing in that process is better, but the process itself is the problem. And I think this makes us worse humans. I think this makes our society definitely worse. Do you find it necessary to eat animals where I live? So it would be it wouldn't be a huge problem. Just wait a minute, I can't find the tissue paper. Never mind. I can probably do without it. I live in Norway. Many people here are vegetarians. Most people are not, but many are. It wouldn't be a problem to be a vegetarian. I don't think that by itself would magically solve all the problems I have with meat industry, and the reason why I'm not doing it is because I'm I'm weak, and also because I am a father rearing kids in a family, and the day-to-day of just surviving is bad enough. So no good reason really. It's just impractical at this point. But I wouldn't. I don't think I would ever. For instance, I don't think becoming vegan is necessarily good. Veganism kills a lot of animals too, because you need the industrial scale. You need the industrial scale agriculture for it, and that's a very life-taking process. Kills millions of mice and birds, and they were free before that, so that's better. But it's still yeah. Would you say you value convenience over life? I don't know. Do you think meat consumption should be a social taboo? No, because one of the things that define humans is that we're very adaptive, and some of the healthiest people are people who eat either a completely vegetarian diet or a completely meat-based diet. Both of those can be very healthy for people under the right circumstances, and those circumstances can be hard. I don't think there is any reason to say that it's necessarily evil to kill animals any more than it's evil for a predator to kill animals. But there is something in the way we're doing it that I do believe is evil at this point. Bees, we could eat bees. I don't think we could eat bees. Could we eat bees? I think there's been a lot of talk about more insect eating in the future, and I think that's probably good. I think it would be a lot easier for everyone if everybody had a little bit of land to grow a garden and have some animals, bring back a bit of self-sufficiency. Yeah, that is definitely something we need as a global society, because one of the things that is killing humanity and the earth right now is capitalism's reliance on industrial farming. That is simply not sustainable. Heavy subject. I love your art style. Thank you. I don't think that could be too good for bees. We can certainly eat bugs. Yeah, and I don't think there's anything morally wrong about eating animals either. I think there is something morally wrong about treating living things as, or thinking, conscious, feeling things as if they are cogs in a machine. Because even if we don't grant animals the same rights as humans and the same capacities as humans, we see ourselves in the animals. Is there spamming? Do I get a ban if I spam saying hi? Yes. Why would you do that? Do you have any tips for working with color instead of just pencil? Looks great, by the way. So I've always been what I call color stupid. Color doesn't come natural for me, and it took a lot longer to learn than most other aspects of art. And there were two factors that ended up teaching me what I know about color. One of them was working digitally and working with hue saturation and just tweaking the colors until I felt they looked good. And just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And I colored so much stuff digitally that I learned so much from it. So that is definitely recommended. The second thing was learning to paint with oil, because I've never understood painting, But oil, whenever I painted with watercolor or with acrylics or anything like gouache, I was always drawing with paint. This is drawing with paint. This is more painterly than I would have managed a few years ago, but it is still drawing with paint. Painting is another way of thinking, and painting is a way of thinking where you also include the color a lot more than you do in drawing. Oil is so different from drawing, and that if you try to draw with oil, it becomes very bad drawings. What characteristics do you feel indicates we should extend rights to humans? Questions above my... Definitely questions above my pay grade. My pay grade is very low. My pay grade is very low. So if you like the stream, then do send a super chat or become a YouTube member for heightening my pay grade. That was weak. But it was true. The pay grade is low, and I do need that people support my art so that I can make more. So enough about that. Now back to what indicates that humans should have rights. I don't necessarily think that human rights are an easy or ideal way of solving human problems. I think it's very hard to say what those human rights should be, but that doesn't really matter because they're one of the legal frameworks we have today that potentially can do a lot of good. And as they stand right now, they would do more good if people like the US, like China, like Israel, like Russia, like the EU would follow those human rights. That would be an improvement, and it is a legal framework that is there. So whether or not that is the right thing philosophically, if it's there are problems related to ideas of rights and duties and what those words mean, but those are insignificant right now because we do have a legal framework around human rights, and it's mostly good, and we should use it more. Draw Loki! I've done that a few times. Could you make a hybrid human lady and a barn owl? Ooh! You should suggest that on next week's poll. Right now it's looking like this one is taking a lot longer than expected, but it's becoming a lot cooler than expected as well. Draw Ginnungagap as you envision it. Okay, I'll draw Ginnungagap for you right now. Ginnungagap. Actually, I have written Now, I haven't written the script yet, but I have an idea for a video that will include Ginnungagap. I don't know why I said it like that. Ginnungagap. Would you think making your next shopping trip vegan would be achievable goal to reduce your financial support of an industry you find immoral? No, not at this point. And I would rather, at this point, I would rather, if I could use more money on food, I would rather buy more of my food produce from local sources. And the reasons why it's not feasible for me to switch. First of all, I don't think vegan is a point in itself, but the reason why I don't switch more vegetarian is all to do with family life. Okay? You don't think you could make a single shopping trip vegan? I don't think that would. And there is now there is a sort of a tone to this that I don't really appreciate. I could definitely make a single shopping trip more vegan. I don't think individual consumer actions like that do all that much of a difference. And I also think there is a tendency to assign moral wrongs for the things that others do that don't live up to your moral standards, but not see your own failings in that same regard. As the famous stand-up comedian said, judge not the speck in your brother's eye when you have a wooden beam in your own. The famous stand-up comedian Jesus Christ. But it's a very good saying. Okay, you could, but don't want to do it. It is. I don't really feel comfortable going into this more, because if it was just my own diet I was talking about, then it would be no problem talking about it. But it's not. And I share a lot of myself online, but as many have noticed, I share extremely little of my family online. And that's all I have to say about this discussion today. But it's interesting. Could you draw a realistic Antichrist? I don't know what that would mean. What do you mean with a realistic Antichrist? Man is not my master. Thank you, Alina. I'm sculpting Perry the platypus in foam clay at the moment. I'm starting to enjoy doing art alongside other artists online. Beekeeper looks good. Thank you so much, Alina. Perry the Platypus is awesome. Yeah. Great stuff. Thank you so much. And yeah, it is good working alongside other artists. Let's celebrate their first super on a live stream. Yes. Thank you so much for giving your first super to me. So appreciated. I did see the comment, K-pop, but I'm not drawing the Antichrist right now, and repeating it doesn't work. Can I draw Baba Yaga next? Not today, because if I did, it would be a completely generic witch Baba Yaga, because I haven't researched Baba Yaga lately, so I don't remember enough of the specific details. But if you want, especially a mythological, request, then please do comment on the post that I will be making next week. Okay? And Baba Yaga will definitely happen. Her name comes up so often. That will happen. Maybe she was among the names that got deleted by accident, by Google or by YouTube. I don't know. Earlier this week, probably she was. Someone always suggests Baba Yaga. I should have just put Baba Yaga on the list, and then I wouldn't have to draw Beekeeper. But this Beekeeper is turning out cool, so good. So people will suggest Baba Yaga again, so she will be on my lists of things you can vote on to draw, and I will probably get to her in my other videos as well, but right now I'm researching a whole bunch of stuff for videos this spring, and Baba Yaga isn't one of them. But there's so many cool witches and stories and all of that good stuff. I literally can't get over the colors he's chosen here. They work so well together. Yes, they turned out really good. Lucky, I guess. So we're just going to do some very basic masking. This isn't how you mask drawing properly, but I just want to protect parts of it very quickly. You could sell all your art on t-shirts, but especially this. Ooh, yeah. So we will be experimenting with more t-shirts, trying to find new designs that work in the next months or half a year or whatever. So there will be more t-shirts. I can just say there will be more t-shirts. Will this one be a t-shirt? This doesn't strike me as a t-shirt design personally, but if you see something in it, then once it's uploaded to the gallery, you can download it and make a t-shirt. You're allowed to do that, and you're allowed to sell it, and you're encouraged to do that. You're encouraged to sell it. And you're encouraged to make money off my art. Because art should be free, and the more people share and spread my art, the better it is for me. Okay? What's your opinion on Therians and or furries? I've met some lovely people who are furries. I don't know if I've met many Therians, at least not that have identified themselves as such. But I try to judge people on how I communicate with them, not on what I think of, not on my preconceptions of them. Fits in a cartoon book more? Yes, thank you. Have you met any Gallifreyan yet? Is that Gallifrey? Isn't that the Doctor Who thingamabob planet? I'm a Therian and furry, so thanks for being respectful. No problem. I think that's the least people can do, is to try to be respectful. And that is one of the worst. Oh, no, we ruined the art a little bit. Doesn't matter. Fixed. One of the worst ideas is this idea that respect has to be earned. That is just an incredibly poorly thought out saying. Respect has to be earned in a relationship where one is the master and the other is the servant or slave. Then, sure, if you're the king, you can say stupid things like respect has to be earned. You have to earn the king's respect. But for respect to function in a social way, respect has to be given naturally. Otherwise, it doesn't function, because the power of respect comes from if someone does something that makes you lose respect for them, then taking away that respect is powerful. But you should start by respecting everything. It doesn't matter if it's a person or an animal or a rock or a tree. Start with respect and then move on. It's way of surviving is to start with respect. You can't start with disrespect. Then the only way is down. Common decency is owed. Respect absolutely has to be earned. No! In no way. That is the common idea, yeah. But it doesn't work. like that. If you treat people with whatever you think is common decency, then they have no reason to make you respect them. The only way you can say that respect is earned is if you think that you are in a superior position and that you are the master and they have to earn your respect. That is, it is a stupid aristocracy, bullshit idea. It doesn't work if you're on equal standings, and people are equal. How long have you been doing art for? All my life. All my life I've been doing this art since I was merely one. Respectfully. Trust might be a better word. Yeah, trust is definitely earned. So very simple example. I don't need to know a snake in the woods. Have to treat it with respect first. Otherwise it will bite. Trust, it takes a lot of time for a snake to build up trust. With me, at least. I mean, personally, if you trust strange snakes, then please do go trust them strange snakes. Unverified bear, I'm 43, it works like that. I'm 43, I disagree. Common decency is whatever the social contract is. Yeah, but I'm talking about, yes, going beyond merely what the social contract is. Because one of the things that is making society in many places as cold as it is that people stick with the minimum of the social contract. And that is a poor way that is a truly poor way to build a society where people hopefully respect each other. I mean, if you just treat people with common decency, that's better than not treating them with common decency. But respect should be the absolute starting point for people if we want a good society. If we want to continue making a shitty and cold society, then, common decency. Hey, Uncle Trash, see you on Sunday. Yes. You can respect someone as an individual without admiring or approving of them. You respect them as a person, as a living thing that has gone through things you have no idea about. That's why they deserve respect. Because you don't even know. You don't know what they've done. You don't know what they will do. They've done things you can't imagine. And they know things you can't imagine. And the reason why I say this isn't because I just figured it out and have been living my life like this. It is because I have learned the hard way from approaching people with never being or seldomly being undecent, but just, regular mere decency, and then ending up figuring out that that was a mistake. I should have treated them with respect. I would have gotten a better relationship with someone worth having a relationship with if I had approached them with respect before I knew who they were, instead of approaching them with mere common decency. I don't get respect from my father. That is awful. I hope there's enough bees, so it looks like bees. What do you think about art competitions? That can be fun. It's fundamentally it's extremely silly because art isn't something you can be best at. But that doesn't matter, because with egos like mine, we think we can be best. I strive to be best all the time. And that's probably one of the reasons why I've had to learn to respect people, is that I am a competitive person. I want to win. I want to be best. And sometimes I've dismissed people because of my ego, and mere common decency I've treated them with, and it's been a mistake. So yeah. So, but I enjoy art competitions more if they are sort of fun. I think that most art competitions these days are sort of a scam to get free labor out of people. And if your idea is that, if you're making an art competition, your idea is that then that's a good, cheap way to get a lot of art, then that's a crappy art competition. Ba, 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 ba. Hey, Bethany Primrose, I didn't see you come in there. Thank you so much for moderating for me. Thank you for deleting unnecessary questions. Do not ask questions again and again. If I don't see it the first time, wait a few minutes and ask again. There's many questions. I try to read them all. I can't. Totally understand from being a straitjacket for 6 weeks and being told I need to relax. But you believe and tell the truth, it always comes out. Kim, Wi-Fi is lag too. What's going on? Is the Wi-Fi lagging a lot? We will be improving our internet here in the house in a little while. So hopefully that'll help. Okay, I think I want to do a few white spots on this fella, and the ink will seep through. And I also unfortunately think that this is the only piece we will be making today. I thought I would get time for a ink monster or two, something like that, but this one has been going on for a long time and I'm very tired today. I'm tired every day. Sorry if the Wi-Fi is lagging. Let me see. Yeah, it looks decent on my end. Yeah. Thank you so much for sticking with me, even if the Wi-Fi is lagging. What camera setup do you use for filming your art like this? So over Christmas I got a new camera setup. I can show you around. When I'm done with this drawing, I will show you around and show you the chaos in which I dwell. Because I got a new setup over Christmas. I got a new computer that we could afford through my company because we had to invest some of the money from the company before New Year's, and we had enough for a computer. And also I've started using a DSLR camera, and I will also be upgrading my phone as soon as I can, or within days, because the phone I'm using now is it's just stuttering and heating up, and what is it called? It's planned obsolescence. It's not more than 5 years old, the phone, but for phones that is ancient these days. So that is, yay, capitalism. Finally made it to live. I'm such a huge fan. From a queer woman in the US. Thank you. Thank you. It's great to see people from all over the world watching and enjoying. So good to hear. Do you practice through life drawing? Yes, I do, but not enough. I should do life drawing a few times a week, but I do it a few times a month. Life drawing with a model, I do even more seldom, but life drawing from landscapes and stuff I can do a little bit more often. Once in a while I pay for a model, once in a while I go to live drawing classes, but way too seldom. Oh, awesome beekeeper, the stream is lagging a little bit and your microphone is peaking a little today. Sorry. Yeah, I'm doing a new microphone setup so that I don't have to talk into this thing all the while, but I probably did the levels a little bit wrong. I'm learning on the job, as they say. And if it was earlier in the stream, I might have tried to correct it, but now it's too late. Sorry about that. Yeah, I'll show some of the lights, and it's all very non-professional, but it's more professional than it used to be. New mic sounds good. Excellent. That's so good to hear. And it's much easier because with the old mic, which is here, I had to keep my mouth really close to it at all times because it picked up sound very poorly. But this is a little mic like this. And it's much easier to use. Can you do portraits? I'm not a portrait artist, but I do them once in a while and I enjoy them very much. And it's one of the things that I would like to practice much more. Have you ever trouble with the not good enough demons that keep you stagnant and not creating all the time? All the time I'm do, feel things where I'm sure that I'm not good enough. And it is hard to break through that, but you gotta do it. And experience helps. Experience helps more than anything else. Experiencing that, even when your art doesn't come out exactly how you wanted it, it can have value. How do you avoid artistic block? You keep drawing. One of the great things with the ink monster exercises is that you can do, when you are in an artistic block, you can do like 5 minutes of a silly, stupid looking, goofy ink monster. How many bees are there in a bee colony? Someone Google that for me. Okay, so what was my point? My point was, yeah, you can do 5 minutes of ink monster drawings per day. Oh, hello Mona. Mix sounds great at my end. And if you do those 5 minutes of drawing something very simple, very silly, you keep your hand warm through it is between 20 to 80,000 bees in a colony. Thank you. I just need to manage to make my point now, because I'm the tiredness is seeping in. The main problem of artistic block isn't the artistic block. It's that you stop drawing because of the artistic block, so that when you get inspiration again, your hand is cold, and before you manage to make your hand warm again, you give up because you think that you still have artistic block. You don't have artistic block. It's just that your drawings suck because you haven't drawn in a month. So keep drawing through the artistic block, but do things that don't require being perfect, that don't require a lot of time. Follow an online class in drawing. Draw quick sketches from life. Draw ink monsters. Do something all the time, every day, a little bit, so that your hand is warm when inspiration comes back. So this became an ink monster. I thought this wouldn't become an ink monster, but it did, and it's ink monster 62, I'm pretty sure. 1462, and it's the Keeper. We're going there. Yes, we are. Of the 70K bees. He's the keeper of the 70K bees. I'm so happy with this. This came out above all my expectations. I thought this would be hard. I made it! Able to see the man with a plan and the hands of a magnificent artist. Thank you so much. I feel like I'm in a constant learning phase. Never finish a drawing. So there are periods where you shouldn't finish too many drawings because you are in a learning phase. And there are phases where you can learn enough through doing finished drawings. I've been doing finished drawings a little bit too much the last few years. I feel I need to learn more. I need to practice more. That's one of the reasons why I've started the Sunday streams, where we are drawing, where we're learning to draw. I'm going through Bridgman's books right now, and you can see the next live on Sunday. But the thing with the learning phase is that you can avoid, you can delude yourself by not finishing art. So, because when you're in a learning phase, it's really easy to fool yourself into thinking you've learned more than you have. And then you sit down and you draw, and then, you know, there's noises outside, you're a little bit tired, you don't have all that time because you have to make dinner, so it doesn't become perfect. So instead of finishing it, you say to yourself, you know, I could have done this really good if I finished it, and if the circumstances were right. But they weren't, so I didn't finish it. So you can kid yourself into thinking you've learned more because you don't need to apply it. But once you apply it, you start seeing that, oh, I haven't learned as much as I thought. This finished piece of art came out a lot crappier than I thought it would. And that is hard, that is painful. And you know, every time you finish a drawing, there are a million excuses for why it didn't become as good as it should. And there will always be. So you just have to get used to it. There's always something that will mess up the process, and where you can say, oh, I mean, it could have been better if I hadn't had a bee chasing me while drawing. So yeah. So once in a while, even in a learning phase, once in a while you should finish a painting or a drawing as good as you can within the limits that you have, just to see how far you've progressed. Because if you don't do that, the likelihood is that you will start thinking that you are better than you really are. At least that was it for me. Is that paint or inks? This is a combination of liquid watercolors and some fluid acrylic and some India ink as the base. Just arrived due to the title of the stream. Can I ask for a drawing? Well, should we do one more quick drawing? Then it has to be something quick. I can see if I find a paper. If I find a paper, then we can do one more drawing. It doesn't have to be yours, but we can do... I feel I have one quick drawing in me more. But it has to be quick. So what do you want me to draw? Oh, I was going to show you the setup as well, hopefully without ruining things. So this is my new chaos setup. I have my computer here, and then I have this sort of a rig that holds the camera, and it's difficult to see now. It holds one camera there, and the phone is here, and some lights, and that's it. So yeah, that's the streaming setup, and it's, you know, if I do like this, then the camera shakes, so I have to try to not do that. Let us see if we can put this in here again. Yes, we can. Is it okay if my new drawing don't have color? Yes. Kappa or a mermaid. Let's try to do a quick Kappa. They look like that, right? I should have had my something fell. Okay, let's do it like that. Hey bud, just popping in to say I love your work. Thank you. Now, that thank you sounded like, is it a fish in Wind Waker? Thank you! is it something like that? Nice work, especially the dragons. Yeah, I should draw more dragons. They're popular. Okay. Of course, trying to make this hard for myself, so I'm adding colors, and but a Kappa can be really goofy and cartoony almost. So not cartoony, but it's a goofy little creature. Scary, goofy. And if you like that I'm doing these impromptu requests as well, then please do consider giving a super chat or becoming a YouTube member. I will do my best to make the YouTube memberships worthwhile, so you get some extras there, not extras that take away from other people's enjoyment, not like full videos or something, but things where you get early access, where you get updates, where you get also some like sketches of videos is what I'm planning to do, so that I can have a test audience to experiment on. That's why I want members. You can pay to be my beta testers. Thank you. Of course it's Beetle. Thank you. Of course it's Beetle. I'm embarrassed. What does the fish say again? I have a Discord. Yeah, so den unge har on Discord. Most of the Discord is only available for patrons, and I will figure out a way to add YouTube members to that as well, but I haven't figured it out logistically yet. Probably just make yeah, I'll have to figure that out. And yeah, but there are a few open channels as well. Let's describe what a Kappa is. So a Kappa is a Japanese water spirit of some type. It's a drowning spirit, so it can be dangerous. It can pull you down into the water in small ponds and stuff like that. So be careful with Kappa. And they have an obsession with cucumbers for some reason, I've heard. And they also sometimes stick their hands up the butt of cattle. Sometimes they'll leave a cucumber in, other times they lose an arm doing that. But the most significant feature of them, of course, is that on top of their head they have a bowl of water. So the opening of their head is like a bowl, and there is water inside. And that water is their life force. So, since Kappas are very polite, so if you ever get in trouble with a Kappa, you should just bow courteously to it, show it common decency, I would guess it would be, and then it will bow back and it will lose the water from its head and die. So this is the final moments of a Kappa. They're really polite, yes. Didn't know their head was a bowl. So I'm not certain that with most folklore creatures and mythical creatures, there are really many variations. So there might be variations without the bowl on the head. I've never heard of them. They have long fingers, I've heard. Do you have a place like Twitter, Discord, or any other site where you something your art, where you post your art? I have a website, denungeherreholm.com. From there, you can go to my, if you want to see all my art, you can go to my free art gallery. You find it through denungeherreholm.com, where all my art is released for free use. Every piece I do for myself, I release for free use, so you can download it in high res and you can change it or print it or even sell it. So yeah, go to denungeherreholm.com and there you can find my art, or you can find the links to the free art. Thank you for sharing your art for free use, by the way. Thank you. It's generous and I appreciate it. Yeah. So I'm not doing it because it's generous. I'm doing it because I don't mind being generous. I've heard it said, men brave and generous lead the best lives. Yeah, so I don't mind being generous, but the reason why I release it for free use is, for one, I think it's morally right. Number two, I think it's important for the art. And number three, I think it makes business sense long term. I think a lot of the questions we are seeing now with with copyright strikes on YouTube and with AI and all of that stuff, I think all of it is, even though people don't really notice or talk about it like that, all of it is a failure of the copyright system. And it is, I mean, it's not that the AI is abusing the copyright system, so though it is that, it is revealing flaws of the copyright system that were already there. Anti-capitalist sentiment society, it's not, it's, thank you. I should learn to take compliments and just say thank you. But all that being said, it's not a purely anti-capitalist viewpoint. I share much of my ideology on copyright with people who are in part capitalist or fully capitalist, or it's not an exclusive leftist view of copyright. Copyright is problematic in a lot of ways, from a lot of viewpoints, not just the leftist viewpoint. But I don't think there's any good leftist reasons to be for copyright. And I think it's a shame that a lot of leftists are pro-copyright, especially if they are, into like publishing and stuff like that. So they see copyright as a tool to fight against the corporations, but it's not. It is a tool for the corporations. I heard Kappas like cucumber. Yeah, that is true. Or I don't know if it's true. It's what I've heard about Kappas. They like cucumbers, live by rivers and ponds, and are polite. Now this is the final moments of a poor Kappa. We live in a capitalist dystopia. Yeah, but I'm increasingly starting to agree with Yanis Varoufakis, who says that capitalism is actually dead at this point. It was killed by capitalism, and what we have is something new, which he calls techno-feudalism, and I think that's a very good word for whatever we have today. It is what we have now is beyond just mere capitalism. It is new and scary and strange, and one of the problems is that when discussing it with capitalists, it's very easy for them to slip into, no, that's not capitalism, that is corporatism. Well, we're using the word capitalism to describe the society we have today, so it doesn't really matter if you call it corporatism. That's irrelevant. But if we just start calling it something like techno-feudalism or something like that, then maybe. I occasionally post my art on Twitter, but I'm not good. People should post their art and not be afraid of being bad. Don't be afraid to be bad. I'd love to see you draw a Wendigo. I did a Wendigo drawing not too long back, this last fall, I think. So check that out. And I also talked about the possibility of doing more on that, but I have to do it in my way. And this Kappa took a lot longer time than I had thought it would, because I started adding colors and all that sort of stuff. That being said, I'm very satisfied so far. Do you ever take an inventive approach to anatomy, such as drawing muscles or tendons that don't look human-derived? I mean, this is This is some good anatomy I'm doing here, and it's not bad by mistake. So I do a lot of inventive anatomy, I think. I'm not afraid to be bad. It's part of my profession. No, I'm not a cop, though their profession includes being a bad person too. I think it's on a personal level, I think it's important to differentiate that all cops are bastards. Don't mean that all people who are cops are bad persons. I mean, it's better with a cop who is conscientious and tries to do as much right as they can than it is with one who isn't. But the problems of policehood is systemic, and it makes them all bastards. It makes them all evil in some sense. But that individually, I don't know why I'm talking about this now. It's completely unnecessary for this discussion. Nice. Now draw it reading the Bible. I don't think it's Christian. Evil and complicit. Yes, complicit, definitely. I wasn't critiquing your statement. I was just thinking out loud, and I'm very tired. So forgive me if I sounded combative. That wasn't the intention. Started with a compliment. I'm very happy that I did this one. Let's do an Enso to see if the gods allow. Yep. A little fixing, and the gods allow. That was close enough. Okay. Is this the last drawing of the live? Yes, it is. It is. It is. Definitely. Definitely the last drawing of the live. And I'm very satisfied with it. And I'm very tired. We got to draw the keeper of the 70k bees and the Kappa's last stand. That is a good job. Now, if you would like to see more of these lives, if you would like to see more of this art, which I put up on for free use, so you can use it commercially or personally, then please do support by sending super thanks, by becoming a YouTube member, by supporting on Patreon, or by going to Den Unge Herr Holm and buying originals and merch and prints. That's all I have to say today. I will be back with a art learning live, how draw, on Sunday at the same time, and then another draw what on the next Thursday. So if you have any more requests, put them in the posts where I ask for requests before that. Thank you all for being on this live. I had a lot of fun and I'm very satisfied with both of the two pieces. And yeah, make free art or die.